Well, hello there, Spooky. How you doing this afternoon? You doing good? Is all well? You coming to and talk to me about the events of the world? Well, how are you? Are you doing okay, baby? Well, next week, you gotta go visit Miss Ann, okay? Yep. It'll be okay? Sure it will. Well, hello there, friends and family. So good to see you today. On again, a bright, sunny day here in deep South Alabama. It's currently about 79. And here again, I'm just amazed by all that. And you might want, pardon me, I haven't scraped off the fuzz yet. That's coming. Because it's that time of the year, it's really warm. That, you know, everything gets sort of itchy and irritating. I just don't need all that. And I've already showed you the blueberries. They're in full bloom and everything. Bees are loving it, you know, bumblebees. Haven't seen no honeybees yet. But that's not what we're going to be doing today. The Focus is sitting on less than a quarter of a tank. So we got to go fuel up, you know. And yeah, I know some of you saying, well, you know, I never let mine go below half. Well, in most cases, I try not to do that either. And that'd be my recommendations. But around here, you know, I can drive anywhere I want in 3 miles or less. It's not a big town. Or, you know, push come to shove, considering current events, if I had to walk, give me, you know, a little wagon or something, I could do that too. It's not like they don't do it in a lot of other countries, especially one that's suffering far greater than what we are here in America. And that's a little bit about what we'll be talking about today. So hey, let's all jump in the Focus and take a ride. Fuel her up. And we'll go out and enjoy the day, you know, if y'all want to. You know, I got some snacks in the car. You know, I always got them. And I got some water. Best I can do. So come on, let's take a ride. So I got y'all all loaded up in the Focus. And as always, some of y'all are sitting on each other's laps. And got the trunk popped open, you know, the rumble seat. And off we go. And you might notice nice blue skies, and for the most part, not a cloud in them. And it's toasty here in the Focus. You know, I got the air on right now, so hey, just be patient. And it was 95 in the car, and we all piled in. So we're gonna head on off and get some fuel. And, you know, that's something we're going to start off talking about. And we've seen this. I look back on election day. I did a video on my way there, you know, the boat, back in 2020. That was November. And fuel prices were $1.87 on that particular day. And I said, you know, pay real close attention. Look at that price, because you'll never see them again in a long, long time. Not never, but because, I mean, we thought we'd never see it again then. Because, yes, indeed, fuel prices have been as high as they are now, or higher, you know, back in the past. But here we are again. And that one time, not too long ago, about a year ago, maybe two, our administration told us that we were now a net exporter of oil, which I looked into that, and surely we were, for the first time in a long, long time. I mean, since back in the early 70s. And we were enjoying those lower fuel prices. In fact, here we'd actually seen regular gas as low as $1.69, something I thought I'd never see again. But last time we were out and about, and I checked their video, our fuel price here was $3.37 down here at my favorite convenience store, Buddy's, which is where we're going now to put some fuel in the Focus. We're going to see right now just what this is going to cost us. I expect it's going to be higher than that. And as I'm seeing, and I'm sure y'all can see too, it's 377.9. Yep. Oh my Lord. Went up 40 cents. And that ain't been but a few days back. And that's a reoccurring thing all over America. I mean, it was already heading up, heading up. But that's where we got to get back to the current events of the day. And that's what we're going to be talking about as we take a ride in the bright sunshine here in deep South Alabama. So before we head on out on the road trip, let me just tell you, it took 9.3 gallons to fill the Focus up. Of course, it only holds a little over 13. It was just under a quarter of a tank. That was $35.15. Ouch. Yep, that's pretty extreme. You know, but I like to take my drives pretty much, except for, you know, getting chicken tenders for the kid crew and taking y'all for rides from time to time. That's my whole entertainment, you know, besides YouTube. As I guess YouTube's yours too. But, you know, such is life. Now, I saw over the last day or two that fuel prices for regular gas was anywhere from $3.39 lowest I've seen, and this was just yesterday. Got a good friend, he travels up to Iuka, Mississippi, about once a week, sometimes twice, and we talk on the phone, we chat. That's Southern Boy Prepper. If you haven't checked out his channel, you might want to go over there and give him a little encouragement and start doing some more you know, informative videos, because he's got it going on. Yeah, some people speed. Anyway, you know, and he was, you know, telling me the prices along his trip. And he saw $3.39, $3.59, $4.05. Of course, I was watching this here People's Convoy. You know, they come across the country. And I've seen prices as high as $4.55, $4.05. Again, I don't know what it is out in California, but if you're, you know, east of the Rockies, and we're seeing anywhere from $3.39 to $4.55, woo, I bet out there they feeling the pain. They got to be over $5 a gallon, I would think, by now, because that's just how it always works out, along with Oregon and Washington. You know, I'm not going to get into all the reasons why. Many of us have our suspicions, but here again, as you can see, it's just a beautiful day to be alive. And I've noticed, well, especially now with what's currently going on, which is just stacking up on what has been going on. You know, we've had the CB thing, and, you know, here in America, it's real, it's fake. You know, all I know is I know people have died from it. That's all I know. So to me, it's real. If somebody wants to believe it's fake, that's just fine. But on top of that, and it's still going on, even though now with What's happening? Well, where'd it go? Well, it's still there. Trust me, it is. It's just no longer the big story in the news. And that's the way. And it's just not mainstream media anymore, folks. I can stick my finger right back at them. It's all social media too. They've learned. They've taken lessons from mainstream. Oh yeah, they have. And that has affected, you know, some of the beliefs and ideas over the current situation. As you might know, is Ukraine. And I've been watching that. You know, I finished up Olympics. Thought, well, okay, I'm going to start doing videos. You know, this time of year, I normally show you what's out and about, walkabouts. Take a little walk in the forest before it gets dangerous again. And, you know, getting the yard ready, the property ready, and gardening. And we will be doing some of that, no doubt. But as soon as the Olympics were over, then the invasion started. And, you know, I'll admit, you got to be careful out there what you watch. Why? Because greed, you know, that's the number one factor in humans' lives now, sadly but true. And everybody wants to point the finger back again at mainstream media, but there's no longer any credence to me of trust in social media. And, you know, as I've been trying to see actual video of events out of Ukraine, oh, I pick up the ones that are fake. Now, I'm pretty good knowing my geography. Well, I know geology too, but geography. You know how it should look. I'm also knowledgeable enough to know what time of year and season it is in Ukraine. And there are people, for no other reason than clicks, likes, shares, and what have you, that are posting fake crap. Yeah. It's not that it's totally fake. You know, it was either from Syria, Chechnya, or some other conflict in the past. And people on both sides of the aisle, and those all in between, are as guilty of that as anybody. And it takes, you know, literally what I've been doing, sitting down for a few hours every evening, and I sort through all that. And for those who think it's just fake, it ain't happening, it ain't real, well, hey, it's a free world. If that's what you want to believe, hey, I'm good with that. But I'm going to tell you my thoughts. It is real. There are people dying, men and women that are not military, you know, not regular army. There's grandmas and grandpas dying. There's children dying. And I mean, it's escalated to the point where instead of mostly hitting military targets, they're just on a churn and burn campaign. And what is that? And why is it important? Well, it's not like we have not been at fault doing that ourselves and our allies. In World War I, World War II. You know, the bombing of major European cities that were under Axis control. Totally firebombing. Of course, now, granted, if you want to poke a finger at somebody, a little old guy called Hitler started first by firebombing London. But then we took it back to him. And in my mind, and the German people, rightfully so. Well, that's where this has all went to. And you might wonder, why would you do that? Why would you destroy homes, cultural centers, historic landmarks? Well, it's because it demoralizes the population. It's designed to take the will to fight out of you. There's nothing left to fight for. And I look at the actual verified videos that I can verify, here again, knowing the season, knowing the geography, knowing the landscape and the architecture, which I do, I can tell what I'm looking at is not Gaza. It's not Lebanon. Now, like I already said, there are those out there for nothing more than ego and greed, neither of which I no longer possess. I mean, if only 3 people, maybe 4, watch this video, I'm good to go. We all forget, if you can change one person's life, you've done an amazing thing. Now, as we've driven, you might have seen the Bradford pear all bloomed out there in white. Like I say, you can always turn the commentary off, turn the volume down, just watch the scenery. Like that beautiful tree to the left, all sort of yellowish. Yeah, it is beautiful. Things are coming alive in Alabama, and I hope they stay alive, because there's a question mark now. One that, unfortunately, I will be addressing in a future edition of the Late Night Reports. And I wanted to talk about that, because I know a lot of you come to the channel to get away from the craziness in the world. And I've done my best to provide a place where that's possible. But there are times in life where, I just can't chase rainbows and unicorns, and everything's not sparkles. Just ain't. And that gets back to, part of the channel is informing my family and close personal friends, as well as now all of you, my friends and family, what I think's going on and my thoughts about it. But, that's not what the right's, just letting you know that's coming. But I want to let you know, if you see a late night report and you read the title and you really don't want to be a part of that, hey, you just don't got to watch it. It's just that simple. And I'll leave it at that. But here again, I've been seeing ever since this here invasion started, or special operations as Russia and Putin want to claim it is, and I see all the backlash. Well, nobody cared when America invaded Afghanistan or Iraq. Well, yeah, and I wasn't big on those actions, but at least there was an underlying reason, for real. Like them terrorists. Now, some of the reasons, like weapons of mass destruction, never turned out to be a fact. Sadly, but true. Never did. And that puts, a whole specter of doubt on why we went. And it, it really hurt America's credibility. And so far, other than, provide military aid and everything, along with the whole entire world, as well as the whole entire world sanctioning Russia, we have not, let's play, we are not, at this point, for obvious reasons, willing to put boots on the ground in Ukraine. Because whether you know it or not, Putin made it clear, and so did every one of his defense ministers, and they still do every day. Getting involved, Western countries getting involved in this, will result in consequences the likes of which we have not seen in our history. Now, a lot of people interpret that to be nuclear, and I would tend to agree. And that was something else I was going to do a late night report on, because I'm old enough to remember when we stood at that precipice one time before in my early childhood. And I can tell you what, on that particular day in 1962, and most of y'all are probably thinking, I remember that day, this little boy was scared out of his mind. Yeah. I had no idea what was going on. You know, all I knew is my father showed up at school in his battle dress, which was unusual for him to come to school dressed, and he made sure quickly to get me out of class and take me with him. Yep. My baby sister and baby brother, they weren't in school at the time. They were already home with my mama. And I won't go into where we went, but we did go somewhere. And the fact was, we were in Germany at the time. I mean, it was real. As far as the public knows, that's the closest we've ever come, within minutes, possibly, of all-out nuclear war. But like I said, Putin has drawn the line in the sand. And even though, you know, the Ukraine, they want us to put boots on the ground or close the airspace, which would also require us shooting down Russian planes. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious what would happen then. We'd be at war with Russia. And that gets back to, you know, the threat that Russia has made, that should we do that, or any Western country, it'll go nuclear. I mean, he made that clear. I've listened to his speeches just so I knew, listened to his defense ministers. Oh yeah. Now, whether he would or not, here's the caveat. He said he wouldn't invade Ukraine. But he won certain concessions, and if he didn't get them, he would invade them. Well, apparently the man wasn't threatening, because he did exactly what he said. So if it were me, I'd sort of take the man at his word right now. You know, is he willing to totally annihilate the earth? Because surely it would. Because that's something else all going rampant across social media, telling you how you can survive a nuclear war. Like, you know, we're just going to shoot a couple off. We're just going to pop a few off. It don't work that way. No, it never has. It's all about that assured mutual destruction that has kept us from doing something like that. So, once one pops off, the other country has a decision to make. Rather rapidly, they got to decide if they're going to send off everything or lose them. Now, that's where it gets back, you know, sure, mutual destruction, which has always sort of kept us being civilized. And it's never happened, even though unbeknownst to us, when it happened, there were several events in our past, other than 1962, that being the Cuban Missile Crisis, that put us within just seconds of total annihilation. But we didn't know it. That would come out later in history. But that's where we stand now. Do you take the man at his word? Seems to be good right now, especially when he's threatening violence. Now, it's not so good, you know, his word when he said he wouldn't invade Ukraine. So, I mean, it's 50-50. And I don't know about any of y'all that played poker before. You know, a lot of people win by bluffing. But a whole lot of people lose, too. So it sort of puts you in that 50-50 category. Is he bluffing? Or will he do it? And then that gets back to the fact he ain't gonna just drop one off. whoever goes first is going all out. And whoever goes second is going to go all out too. And all this talk about having radiation meters and stock food to the rafters and all your antibiotic medical equipment, it ain't going to matter. That's just fact. Especially in America and in Russia and in Europe, most likely Canada, along with a few other countries like Australia, China. Because when it gets to that point, you just let them all go. And you got to think about that. And it ain't like 10, 15, or 100. Between just Russia and the U.S. is over 12,000. Yeah. Think about that. And I have. And this was something you and I, most of y'all, being, you know, close to my age or older, we lived this when we were growing up every day. Yeah, it's called the Cold War. You know, we had to drill, duck and cover, get under our desk, as damn foolish as that might sound. We had, you know, little turtle commercials that came on, cartoon. You remember the cartoon with the turtle? Duck and cover, and he would hide in his shell. Yeah, well, now I'm thinking that wouldn't even save that little cute turtle. But that's where we are, as sad as this has become. And the other sadder thing is, and you can hate me or love me, I don't care, is here we are in America. We're not worried about the mass destruction so much. I mean, yeah, you know, people have little flags and make flowers, put things on their Facebook and Instagram. They support Ukraine and that. But then what I'm seeing on social media, our biggest worries, oh, look at these fuel prices. It's all because of this. Well, they were already going up. And you know my thoughts about why they were going up then. Yep, it's another crisis, you know, the climate change. They're all thrilled. They don't care if it gets to be $20 a gallon. Because that just means you and I, and poor Americans, and people got to work every day. Yep, they won't be buying any extra. And, you know, that is a fact. Oh, they just repaved this road. This used to be really ghetto down through here. But I have noticed there used to be a lot of drug houses down here. They come in and close those suckers, burn them to the ground, buried them. Yeah. That's sort of like our little war around here. But yeah, you know, I go to lives and I see all the complaining about gas, which, yeah, it's affecting us. Ain't no doubt it's going to affect me. How many times are we going to be able to go on these nice, beautiful rides and hear me ramble on about stuff may or may not want to hear? That's going to be affected. Going to places I wanted to go this year and take you, to some extent, that'll be affected. And then it's going to hit us in the belly. There's no doubt. But we were already seeing stupid prices at our grocery stores. That was already happening. Now, you saw how much fuel jumped in a little less than a week, 40 cents. It's going to get way worse. So, that affects everything. That affects food, every commodity, everything we buy. It's all going to go up to cover the cost of fuel required to ship it. Fuel goes up, freight charges go up. It's just the way it all works. So we definitely going to feel it in our gas tanks, our diesel tanks, and in our food purchases, and whatever else we buy. From a small appliance to a box of Kleenex, Q-tips, you name it. Anything you buy, it's going to go up. It's just the way things are. But then, as unsettling as that might be, and I agree, I really don't need that now being retired. I don't. And I know many of y'all are just like me or worse, and you really don't need it. I mean, you don't have a YouTube channel. At least, I went ahead and monetized YouTube, and thankfully, because all of y'all watch the ads, or at least the ones that are reasonable, that's why I always have them skippable. We do make a little extra every month. I mean, it ain't gonna make me rich, even though, some YouTube channels get big, and you see all the crap they buy. But I'm just a tiny little channel. Don't get, I think I don't even have a video that ever got within the first week, over 10,000. Most of mine just get 2, 3, maybe 4, sometimes 5, but that's after, a week or 2. Y'all got busy lives, and I don't blame you. But I'm appreciative. Spooky, the accountant cat, he tracks all of that. He's the one, he puts on his little visor and gets out his calculator. It's a big one with the big numbers. He don't got fingers, he's got paws. So he ordered one off Amazon, that say was for seniors, but he said it was also for kiddies because it had the big buttons. I can relate because I use it too now. Anyway, I use it for eyesight. But that all helps, and I understand y'all don't have that luxury. And if a big part of your income is Social Security right now, that 5.9% historic raise that we all got the first of the year, when the inflation rate come out in January, that immediately put us 2.9% behind, even after the 5.9% increase. Not to mention, they took a third or half of that to when they increased our Medicare payments. That thing we were supposed to have free for the rest of our life. We gave our money all our life. Yeah, I understand. The youngins think, oh, that's an entitlement. No, you and I both know we paid into that system all our entire working lives. But anyway, that, people come after me. I don't care anymore. I've decided, I'm going to say my mind. People want to watch, they watch. People don't, they don't. And it'll be what it'll be. At least one thing, I can't be made of or accused of making it up just to make extra bucks. But I wanted to come on here today and talk about, we're going to feel this in our tank, in our wallets, in our bellies. We're gonna see it when we go to the drugstore to refill our subscriptions. We're going to see it in insurance premiums, car, house, life. And for those of you who have, IRAs and are dependent on those as some supplemental income for your retirement, you're already feeling it. That's because the stock market's now down, year to year, 3,200 points. I know how that all works. All my life I had a 401k. That was supposed to be the savior of us poor folk working people instead of pensions. Yeah, well, at least 3 times in my life, my 401k was just devastated by things they call recessions. And then we had the last one, you know, the Great Recession, which for most of us that would be retiring sometime in the near future, we would never recoup all of that. Nope. I've been honest on the channel. I took mine out. I suffered a 20% penalty, and everybody I knew thought I was crazy. A few years later, after they had suffered anywhere from 45 to 60% loss, they didn't think old Mr. Tom was as crazy as they thought he was. But I mean, like some of my friends said, 10 years later, well, yeah, I didn't take mine out, and I'm right back where I was at. You know, I had to remind them, it's been 10 years. And understand, I took a 20, and yeah, I reinvested that money, I'll be honest. And that's all I said, and left them with that there silly look on their face. But yeah, we're seeing it in the 401ks, and we have been seeing it year on year, just not because of the Ukraine invasion. Stock market's been on a steady decline year on year. I can prove that to you. I can show you the charts. And anyway, it's falling further, and there's no telling how far it'll fall if Russia reopens their stock market, which they have closed indefinitely for obvious reasons. Their stocks will just fall under the floor. That's why they closed it. And they closed their currency exchange markets because the ruble in Russia was becoming worthless. And I mean, it's basically, as of today, worth less than 7/10 of a penny. Yeah. And there are Russian channels that I've watched up until this happened. You know, their cooking, their lifestyle, their culture, and I enjoyed them. And a couple of them are still on. And they're whining and crying, oh, woe is us, you know. And, you know, they got fairly significant YouTube channels. And if you understand, that being said, that was having a great impact in their income and their lives. Now, I watched it. I watched how much their life improved as their channel grew. Because you can't compare to what Russians make and the prices there to what our average wages and what we make here. It's 2 whole different worlds. You know, often I would hear people say, oh, things are so cheap there. Well, they don't make as much in comparison as to the Western world. That's just a fact. Anyway, they're all boo-hooing and crying, woe is us. They're not for the war. Well, then, you know, you take a look at other videos that were coming out of Russia by independent news networks that show at least 50% of the Russians support all this. I watched one this morning that just totally disgusted me from API. They're in Russia. And they did a video survey where they showed pictures of what was going on currently, asking them, did they still support Mr. Putin? And 9 out of 10 said yes. Only 2 of all those interviewed, one said he didn't want to talk about it because it was dangerous, which truly it is. Another one, you know, he didn't want to talk about it for no reason. He just wouldn't. But yeah, Russia today passed a law where if you get caught giving misinformation, fake news, or anything, you can face up to 15 years in prison. Think about that, folks. So, hey, they're not going to say. And the sad thing about things is I really enjoyed those Russian channels. And I had nothing against the Russian people. And I still don't. But could they stop it? I think so. Are they gonna? I think not. Yeah, it would take a mass outturning the likes of which God has never seen. And that gets me back to this. So what can we do all about this? And if you're still listening, well, the everyday American can't do much. Just live our lives. If we should be suffering from it, suffer through it. And understand, our lives could be so much worse. Those could be our towns, our cities, our country being bombed into oblivion. Surely could. Now trust me, other than Pearl Harbor, and ever since the Civil War, we have not seen that in any great detail. So, especially in modern times. And, you know, I apologize if I missed some little conflicts that may have happened here. That's not the point. We have never seen a coast-to-coast event the likes of which is going on now. So yeah, even though it bothers me fuel prices are reaching historical highs, food prices, everything. Well, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to have to do the best I can. You know, my primary thing is take care of the kitty crew. And you've seen the new members. Yep. And the little one, she's got to go visit Miss Ann next week. We all got that covered. No worries. And, you know, got to take care of myself. You know, I got to do maintenance on the house. I got to do things. Take care of the property. Maintenance on the Focus, which I do all myself, thank God. But I have expenses. I don't pull this stuff out of derriere, folks, just like you don't. And, you know, I still, about once a month, go get Fast Food Friday for the kiddies. And then I stretch it out over 4 weeks. And there may come a time when that's just no longer possible to do. See, that's just life. And in all fact, most kitty parents don't even do it at all. And I think my kitty crew, because Spooky's already talked to me, he said, "We understand, Papa. I've been looking over the counts." I've already warned him. And that's fine. And we don't need y'all to worry or send no money or nothing. We fine. I mean, if you want to support the kitty crew, the very best thing you can do is you can watch the videos. Maybe you'll share them, and somebody might think they're enjoyable. You know, some of y'all watch me and just put you to sleep. And even though I thought that strange at times, I thought, well, maybe it's okay. It serves its purpose. Oh. But you watch the video, like I say, I make all the ads skippable. And you know, if they're not excessive, you know, I don't expect y'all to be watching 30-minute, 1 hour. Lord, I saw 3 hour. And I want to say that right now. I have some control over things. How many? And Lord knows, I cut them back now since some of y'all let me know. And I didn't know. And I do that. I make them all skippable. But even at the end of the day, YouTube tells us that even you do all that, you know, it may or may not stay in place. I do the best I can with what I can. But as long as I use YouTube, you got to play their game. But we're back at the house and everything. But I want you to think about things. Yeah, we're going to do some suffering, you know, in the fuel tank and in the wallet overall. But I'd like everybody to think for a moment and just compare that suffering to what's happening in Ukraine. Would you trade it? I think not. I don't think they got to worry about the high price of fuel, food, medicines, knickknacks, appliances, you know, all the stuff. Number one priority is living. Then they have to worry about where to get food. Is there any fuel, period, regardless of the price? I've tried over the last few days to put myself and my mind on the ground and in their place. Not like I haven't been somewhere similar once upon a time. And if you've never been through that, it's really hard to relate. Hey, let's get out because the car's going to get really hot in a hurry. Because it's now 84 degrees. So let's climb on out. Hey, we'll talk a bit on the front porch. I'll get y'all some sweet tea. And if you're good, I'll give you some shrimp spread sandwiches. I'm telling you, they're awesome. And if you'd like to know how to make them, hey, I can show you. So, hey, let's all jump out, chat a minute, and then I got to go in and put this all together for you today. So here we are, back on the front porch. It's been a while since we sat here. In the bright sunshine, 84 degrees, in the deep south of Alabama. And I got my little bit in front of me. Spooky not too far away. Speedy. She ain't loving the little one. She's not. As you saw, Cleo wasn't. Mr. Gray, he's just a really nice guy. And it's been a day or so since I seen Magoo. Of course, there's always Gracie. She's glued. I caught her watching CNN. Imagine that. But I hope you enjoyed the ride today. And as always, if you don't want to hear the old man ramble, just want to enjoy the scenery, you turn off the audio. Slip you in a CD. One of those MP3s, whatever they are. And listen to your favorite tunes as we ride along. So, the whole reason of the chat today was, as painful as things might get for all of us here in America, we all need to put them in perspective and think about how much more worse it could be. If what we're seeing in Europe right now were to be here. Currently, our towns, our cities, and our country is not on fire and being destroyed. Yes, we're not having to bury our grandfathers and our grandmothers, moms and dads, and children and grandchildren. Because in the end, that's just how bad it could be. Yes, it could. And I'll be honest, I've never been worried more, except in my early childhood, and that's why I think I can talk to all of y'all. Y'all remember what we lived under in the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, into early 90s to 1991. When the Soviet Union, the USSR, collapsed, and everybody in the world, especially America, celebrated and released a sigh of relief. It was over. Yeah. Fast forward to 2022, and here we are again, on the precipice of World War, on the precipice of a nuclear war. And it just scares the living crap out of me that there are people in governments, as well as on social media, that think it's survivable. Well, I wish them luck. And I wish they do far more research and see how improbable that may be. So, what have I decided to do about all this? Well, I'm going to continue my life. I'm going to be working on my yard. You know, I've got mowing and yard maintenance to do. I got some garden plots, albeit they'll be small again this year, to get all ready for this spring, which is already rapidly passing us here in Alabama. We're now, as far as temperatures, in early summer. So those cool weather crops like cabbage and lettuces and all that probably aren't going to happen. We roll with the punches. You know, that's the one thing that makes America great, as does in many areas of the world. You roll with the punches. And what other generation that's better at doing that than the baby boomers? Just, hey, come on. We've been rolling with the punches all our lives. But I'm not going to be going out and buying gas masks. Now, granted, I have enough. You know, I have CBR gas masks, chemical, biological, radiological. And I even have a couple of suits, albeit they're disposable, meant for one-time use. But I'm not going to be throwing money to prepare for the current situation. If you've got the money and you choose to do so, then more power to you. And yeah, I got food, more than I know a lot of y'all got. Do I think it would be enough if this went all way bad? Nah. See, nobody knows, because we ain't lived it. So, I'm just going to do my best to live my life and share it with, you know, my children, my grandchildren, my close friends, and all of you, my friends and family here on YouTube. And we're going to be showing you a couple new cooking videos. We're going to be getting in like I do every time this year in the early spring, talking about the bountiful wild edibles that you can only get in the spring. And I might add, there's ever been a better time to acquaint yourself with the bounty of the earth that God has provided us, that we don't even grow. Well, if there was ever a year, not that there hasn't been the last 2 or 3, now would be the time. I'm just saying. And that. And we'll be going to some special places, albeit not as many as I had planned, but yeah, all things are about the money and that. And we'll feature our kitty crew with new additions which I might add, one has become fairly faithful. Let me show you. A little bit. You're just, right here with me, aren't you? Yep. Even though I told you, you have to go see Miss Ann next week. Yep. Reminds me of Magoo. Everywhere I go, she goes. But not to fear, not too far off. Laying right down there is Spooky. Spooky! Kitty, kitty, kitty. No. Oh my God. Is that you, Magoo? Spooky. Magoo. That's you. I couldn't believe it. There comes Spooky. Right there. There comes my best of buds. And right there is Magoo. And here is a little bit and Spooky. For a male cat, he loves everybody. He was teaching her how to play earlier. Of course, the reason you don't see Speedy, she's in pouting on the carport. And if I had a wish, I'd wish humans would get along similar to kitties and dogs, if you understand. Yep. So we got Magoo. Speedy being cranky in the carport. Of course, y'all saw Cleo's pissed. I got Spooky at my feet. A little bit there, still ain't told me what her name is. That may take time. Maybe she will, after we get her all taken care of. It all takes time. So, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to live my life like today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the last. Because until everything settles down and goes away, once more, in our lifetimes, we baby boomers, that's our life. Unfortunately for the young ones, it's now their life too. Yes, it is. That's all we can do. Except one other thing. We can pray, and pray a lot. I have been, and I will continue. At times, I won't lie, as I watch the horrendous things that come out of that country, it has brought me to tears. It has made me talk with God and question why. But it has not wavered my faith. For I understand He knows way more than I, and I leave it in His hands. And in the end, that's about all we can do. You choose what you want to do. As you know, I'm all about freedom of choice. So y'all, until I, the kitty crew, which now includes a little bit, Mr. Gray somewhere, Cleo, like I say, is being Cleo, and Speedy's pouting, Elrod's at his other home, and of course Gracie. I got to chase her off my seat in the den, shut off CNN. See y'all on the next video. Y'all take care out there. Stay safe. And God bless each and every one of you. Till we see you on that next video. Goodbye for now. Well, looky there. Spooky at my feet. And a little bit right there. Yep. She's raring to go. She's a playful thing. Spooky was showing her all the ins and outs of playing just a little while ago. Yep. Magoo, you chilling, dude? You my buddy, though. He's enjoying the shade. Because unfortunately now, it's already heating up in the deep south. Later on.